A confined space is defined as any space with limited entry or exit openings with poor natural ventilation. Toxic or flammable contaminants could accumulate in this type of environment, which may cause harm or even death. Whenever work is being carried out, it is important that steps are taken to ensure that the work is carried out safely and precautions are in place to prevent harm from happening. These safe practices should be followed at all times. All confined spaces must be identified on site by means of a sign placed at the entry point. A dedicated register must be available for all confined spaces as part of the company's and project staff management system. The person responsible for the task to be performed within the confined space must be named in the work permit and have the necessary skills, training and experience to fulfill the job. The worksite must be prepared with all the necessary resources. Conditions should be checked to ensure the safety and integrity of the staff members concerned. The work manager must check that all staff working in the confined space have all the necessary skills and qualifications before commencing the works. The work procedure must be approved by the health and safety manager and the manager or person responsible for the works. Any work performed in a confined space must be subject to a work permit, indicating the minimum requirements for safe access to the space. The watch person must have the necessary training to impose access control and constantly monitor the situation while work is being carried out inside the confined space. There must be permanent communication with the staff outside the confined space by means of a fail-safe radio link. Personal area and remote air monitoring equipment must be available. The detectors must be set with appropriate alarm points and should be capable of measuring the relevant parameters. Once the preceding steps have been completed, the work manager present on site will authorize the entry of the staff and equipment that fulfills the requirements established for work in confined spaces. Before entering the confined space, a rescue procedure, rescue equipment and necessary resources must be available. These are an integral part of the documentation required in order to obtain a work permit. The air quality within the confined space should be monitored and checked by the staff member and the watch person to ensure the task can be carried out safely. In the event of an alarm, the space should be evacuated immediately, and the watch person must initiate the rescue plan and alert the rescue team. Low voltage equipment should be used in both dry and wet working conditions, and power via a safety transformer placed outside the confined space. Power cables must be fed through a separate opening from the access point for staff where possible. Any cylinders or containers should be placed outside of the confined space, and welding equipment fed through a separate opening from the access point for staff. Where multiple tasks are being performed, risks must be managed and coordinated with all staff working in the confined space. Adequate ventilation must be provided to allow a fresh air flow rate of more than 30 normal cubic meters per hour for each of the staff members present in the confined space. If work is interrupted, the ambient air quality must be reassessed before resuming work. Check and ensure that all listed staff members have exited the confined space. Close the confined space or place a sign prohibiting entry. Draw up a report on safety measures, good practices and compliance relating to the works carried out, evaluating staff on their skills and capacities, and introduce improvements if necessary. Seal the entry point and restore safety conditions on site. Ensure the site is left in a safe and tidy condition. The confined spaces rules are there for a reason, to keep yourself and others safe. Always verify the necessary safety precautions are in place before you